Gimli, son of Gloin, was born in the year 2879 of the Third Age in Erebor, the lonely mountain in the far northeast of Middle-earth. He was born into Durin's folk, the Longbeards, the most ancient and prestigious of the dwarven clans. His father Gloin had helped to reclaim Erebor from the dragon Smaug in the year 2941, which meant Gimli grew up in a restored dwarven kingdom during a time of renewed wealth, population growth, and expanding trade. He spent his early life in Erebor and the surrounding region of Dale. Exact movements during his youth are not recorded, but dwarven upbringing centered on craft training, martial discipline, and preservation of lineage memory. Throughout this period, Erebor maintained trade routes running east toward the Iron Hills, south toward Rohan, through long caravan paths, and eastward into lesser-known territories. In 2989 of the Third Age, Balin led an expedition from Erebor to recolonize Khazad-dûm, the ancient dwarven realm beneath the Misty Mountains. Gimli did not go, but his uncle Owain did. Contact with that colony ceased after only a few years. The uncertainty of their fate became an unresolved concern in Erebor for nearly 3 decades. In the year 3018 of the Third Age, Gimli departed Erebor with his father Gloin and a small delegation traveling west toward Rivendell. The journey covered approximately 700 to 750 miles depending on the exact caravan route. Travel by mounted and wagon caravan typically averaged 15 to 20 miles per day, meaning the trip likely took between 5 and 7 weeks. They would have departed in late summer and arrived in early autumn. On October 25th, 3018, Gimli attended the Council of Elrond in Rivendell. There, he learned the One Ring had been found and must be destroyed. He was chosen to represent the dwarves in the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship departed Rivendell on December 25th, 3018. Their first major travel phase moved south along the western foothills of the Misty Mountains toward Holland, covering roughly 250 miles over about 16 days of winter travel through increasingly severe conditions. On January 11th and 12th of the year 3019, they attempted to cross the Misty Mountains over the Redhorn Pass of Cataras at elevations exceeding 8,000 feet. Heavy snow forced retreat. By January 13th, 3019, the Fellowship entered the west gate of Moria. They traveled underground approximately 40 miles eastward through Khazad-dûm over 2 days. On January 15th, Gandalf fell in battle with the Balrog on the bridge of Khazad-dûm. Gimli witnessed the tomb of Balin and learned of the colony's destruction. The Fellowship fled through the East Gate that same day. From January 17th to February 16th, 3019, the Fellowship remained in Lothlorien, recovering from losses and winter hardship. During this time, Gimli received 3 strands of Galadriel's hair. On February 16, 3019, they departed Lothlorien by boat down the Anduin River. The river journey to Amon Hen covered roughly 300 river miles over 10 days of current-assisted travel. On February 26, 3019, the Fellowship was broken at Amon Hen. Frodo and Sam departed east. Merry and Pippin were captured by orcs moving northwest toward Isengard. Gimli joined Aragorn and Legolas in pursuit. From February 26 to March 1st, 3019, they ran approximately 135 miles across the plains of Rohan with minimal rest, averaging over 40 miles per day on foot. On March 2nd, 3019, they reached the edge of Fangorn Forest. That night, they encountered Gandalf, returned from death. On March 3rd, they rode to Edoras, approximately 70 miles across open grassland. That same day, they departed with King Theoden toward Helm's Deep. Another 50 miles west, the Battle of Helm's Deep occurred during the night of March 3rd into March 4th, 3019. Immediately afterward, Gimli explored the caverns behind the Hornburg, later known as the Glittering Caves of Aglarond. On March 5th, 3019, they rode to Isengard, about 45 miles northeast. On March 8th, 3019, Gimli rode south with Aragorn through the Paths of the Dead beneath the White Mountains, a route of roughly 80 to 90 miles emerging at the southern foothills by March 13th. From March 13th to March 15th, Aragorn's forces sailed north along the Anduin from Pelargir towards Minas Tirith, covering approximately 150 river miles. On March 15, 3019, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields took place before Minas Tirith. On March 25, 3019, Gimli marched with the host of the West to the Black Gate of Mordor, roughly 300 miles east from Minas Tirith, over 10 days of forced military advance. That same day, the One Ring was destroyed. On May 1st, 3019, Aragorn was crowned King Elessar in Minas Tirith. Gimli remained in Gondor during the summer months of reconstruction planning. In early Fourth Age, Year 1, beginning in 3020, by Shire reckoning, Gimli traveled north, again through Rohan, to Helm's Deep. There, he founded the dwarven realm of Aglarond in the Glittering Caves. Migration of Durin's folk from Erebor likely occurred over several years through organized caravan relocation, covering more than 600 miles each way. Throughout the early Fourth Age, dwarves of Aglarond contributed to the rebuilding of Minas Tirith, traveling periodically between Rohan and Gondor along the West Road, about 280 miles one direction. Gimli remained Lord of the Glittering Caves for over a century. Exact records of his age at the time are not given, but dwarves commonly lived 240 to 250 years. In the year 120 of the Fourth Age, after the death of King Elessar, Legolas built a grey ship in Ithilien. Gimli traveled from Aglarond south to Gondor. He sailed west across the Belagir, the Great Sea, into the Undying Lands. No further record exists of his life after that voyage. Among the histories of Middle-earth, he is remembered as the only dwarf ever permitted to sail west.